View from a balcony, pulling the blue lawn chairs next to the ice chest. Stuffed 2 grams in the blunt that we just blew. Now I'm getting blown by a bitch who I don't know her name. Gold chain hanging, got a few in the room, but I don't wear them out. Only wear them in the house, cause I shine so bright that I wanna blind you.
Never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die. They never lose hope when everything's cold and the fighting's near.
It's deep in their bones, they'll run into smoke when the fire is fierce. Oh, pick yourself up, guys. Legends never die.
I just wanted to play a game. I didn't know at the time that it would lead to creating a new Pokemon space, and a deadly one at that. I heard this game from some friends who heard of it. From one unknown man, it was fun anyway. To get it, a usually multiplayer game. To be unsuccessful, play it by yourself. What was required was a doll of your choosing, sharp instrument of some sort, and obviously no other living thing around there. No other rules, but I don't want to bore you with those details. When I heard about it, I thought it sounded fun. While walking back, I decided that instead of using the sharp instell, I just take my own doll and put it a needle or something in through his hand. That was a bad idea. I waited until the weekends when my parents and my friends weren't home. Before I even got started on the doll, I didn't work too hard on it or do anything serious. After all, it was just for a game of hide and seek. I just mostly gray fabric as I couldn't find anything else and wanted a bit of challenge. Before I went to stuff it, I put extra needles from my family had into it fingers for claws. I felt pretty good as I stuffed the thing. I had successful made my own doll for this. It's my arms were long and ends it with claws that I gave it. The head was point. I choose to not stuff with extra fabric that came with mistreatment. That was one of the back of that head. I used only the other fabric I could find, a red to make a cartoon flower, sharp eyes, finding a creepy without them. I drew a pupil. How can I stuff it? Was though the mouth area, which I closed with a zipper. While examining it, I noticed a hole coming out of the doll. Temporarily, after all, I shoved some straws into it, giving the doll a yellow tail. I might have kept it if it thing didn't go wrong like they did, but my creation was really went wrong. I did what was instructed for what the setup was making a salt barrier to make out of a boundary zone outside my house, and then thrown the toy telling it how I won, and it was now its turn. Then the ran through my perfect hiding place to wait. I waited there about 15 minutes or so. When I heard a movement, I heard footsteps. They were small, unnatural footsteps. This was a game. I knew it. Just a game. It was just for fun. Even with me trying to convince myself this, I still couldn't feel my pulse starting to race from fear. I had to use quite a bit of focus to keep my breathing from getting loud. When it's stepping on the creek border, I accidentally let out a whine. The footsteps stopped, my breathing stopped entirely for a split second. I could hear the zipper mouth open and a chuckle escape it. An evil, terrifying chuckle. The door then opened. The doll I created had an evil aura around it. It then shouted at me. It didn't say any words, but instead shouting a strange phrase, brunette. It then stabbed me in the shoulder with the claw. It wasn't any deadly, but they didn't feel like a small claw. A needle, it felt mostly as if it had a full size sand bone in it. Finger pierced through the strength and run off of the airline area where I was. I pushed the doll down and ran out of my closet hiding spot, but it didn't matter. No matter where I tried to go, the doll was right behind me, clawing at my legs and successfully scratching me. In a few times I scratched me, it wasn't terrifying as the fact that its icy breathing was perfectly icing, freezing the wound back closing. I decided to not care about it. The out of the bounds and leaving the house, I hid in a nearby bush to catch my breathing. The dog was now the most terrifying thing ever. This is now the right wrong. I must have ruined the salt barrier when I ran out because once I felt safe needles drugs through my back and almost hitting me my lungs, I turned around to see the doll smirking in any way and zipper mouth things could again. It spoke brunette. It said again. Although I could hear, I went mixed with it. Somehow it almost sighed onto it. My face is icy, face with icy. It once again said, I can only assume was the name of Choice Burnett again. I read it, it claw. It read its claw as its tears filled my eyes. Its whole hand started to get covered with pure darkness. Shadow Claw, was the end. It had to be. There was no choice to escape. I closed my eyes and prepared for my end. However, the reason the scratches and then I heard it ran away. Confused, I opened my eyes. Sunrise had started to rise. I didn't like the sun. The next day I had to talk to my friends. Most of them said that their attempt ended in failure. One said that he didn't want to talk about it, and one said we are never to do it that again. The first proposed it, who the first heard about it, was nowhere to be found that day. When she was found, she was dead. The cop said that there was one thing on her. One side it was a reference scratch of the doll she made which looked similar to mine. On the other side was a note written in her blood. It was written by something not used to written by how badly done it was. The note had only two words on it. Brunette won. I heard those Pokemons are still being made all the time. Somewhere proposed the others, all just such dangerous things to do in this game. All just too dangerous to play at night. This is my first time reading a horror movie, horror story, so bear with me. I know it's bad editing, but just bear with me, guys. Alright?